Hi, welcome to this new limited series. If you like my sketchbook videos, I think you're gonna love this one because I'm taking my creativity off the page and onto mystery plushies. Today, I'll be unboxing Moriah Elizabeth plushies, and we are going to customize it to show you what you can do with your duplicates. And I say we and not I because I am only making the first episode of this limited series. There are 6 other talented creators that are gonna make the 6 following episodes. So starting this Sunday, you're gonna tune into a different channel to see the next episodes until the finale. But for now, let's start with mine opening these plushies. So even though these are not available here in Ecuador, I was able to get one from each series from Amazon and then just have them forward here from the United States. And I am beyond excited. I'm going to start by opening series 1. I honestly, even though I have a Georgie plushie, I wish I get Georgie. He is my absolute favorite. I got Georgie. Yay, I'm so lucky. Oh my God, hi. Oh, that's such a good first open. If all of these are Georgies, I don't know if I'm going to be able to customize them. Okay, so second, and this is the Mystery Dessert series number 2. Oh, yay! I love, oh my God. How am I going to even do this? I love them all. What's her name? Eustace? No, I don't remember its name. Cheat sheet. I'm old. I forget things. This is Eustace. Oh, I was right. Yay! Mint chocolate version. Okay. Let's see what we have for series 3. And this is the latest series, and it's Color Splash. Cousin Derp. Perfect. Okay. So they're not all Georgies, which makes me feel happy because if not, I don't know. I don't know if I would have customized them all. Okay. Oh, so this is burp, not derp. I'm sorry, Mariah. I am so happy with these. They're incredibly soft. I didn't expect them to be this soft, but I think I need to put my feelings to the side for a little bit and put my thinking cap on because I have received a challenge on how I am supposed to customize one of these. And for me, it's not an easy one. Here's a closer look at the 3 plushies I got, one of each series. And after staring at them for a while, I confirmed my decision of keeping Georgie as is. I feel my original Georgie plushie is cuter because of its proportions, like more round. The new little one is more elongated, but I still love him so much that I am not touching him. Now, I was going to share the challenge I got for this video at the very beginning, but the more I stared at Burp, the bigger my desire got to change his little smile into a nose. I simply could not resist it, so that's what I did first. Don't leave, the challenge is coming soon, but we're making Burp over first. And after painting a nose on his face, I decided the next step was to remove his spine completely. I unstitched it carefully, and once I removed it, he had a big gap on his back. And his nose was a mess. The paint had bled out and stained his face a tiny bit. I was bummed, but I thought it best to close him up before fixing that. To close him, I chose fabric glue and a heat gun. In hindsight, I think I should have used needle and thread. It would have been much easier. But this is me. Once I start something, the stubbornness kicks in, and sometimes I decide to just push an idea instead of changing to a more reasonable path, which is what I should have done here. After some serious struggling and having the help of a binder clip, I managed to close the seam. Here's the result. It's definitely looking a little rough, I'm not gonna lie, but the bigger problem to me was that the face got even more stained from the nose I painted. Oh no. I took it off camera because I thought I could clean it with a damp towel, and I made it much worse. It's truly a disaster. I ruined it, completely messed up this beautiful plushie. Now it was soaked and completely stained. But of course, the only option now was to carry on and move forward with my idea. So I left him on my windowsill to dry in the sun and continued with my makeover idea. I grabbed the fabric I took out of his spine and took it apart, which left me with this strip of fabric, which I ironed and drew on with another fabric marker. I folded the fabric and cut it following my lines. Then I glued the edges, and maybe this is already giving you a huge hint of what I'm doing with burp. When I turned the fabric around, the paint moved yet again, but it made less of a mess. I did learn my lesson, and for the second piece, I cut off the part where I had drawn. And even though it still was a struggle to turn it around and the shape I drew got wonky on both of them, I think they were okay. Again, needle and thread was the right choice. After this new small struggle, my little plushie was still not dry, so I thought I would move to the next step. Now I'm making a collar. So a piece of ribbon and some clay to create a custom name tag. I sculpt a tiny heart in which I push this, I don't know what to call it, maybe it's like a jump ring. I personalized it with these tiny letter stamps that spell bark. Yep, we are turning a dino into a dog. When I finished the collar, the plushie was dry enough to work with, so I took the pieces of fabric I made, opened some slits on its head, and glued them in place to create some fluffy ears. Then I thought it was time to start fixing the face. Oh, the face. I used some fabric paint to paint a spot around one of its eyes. I also covered the two front seams with white because this is what I saw when I first stared at Burp face to face. Tiny eyes, big nose, big teeth. So, covering the rest of the stitching, I also drew a new mouth for him. A huge smile for some huge teeth. The new features cover a tiny bit of the mess, but he still looks very scruffy. I think now that it's a dog, it makes a little bit more sense that he's scruffy. He just hasn't had a bath and he's been playing outside in the mud, digging for bones. So, yeah, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. The fabric of the plushie really soaked in my paint, making it darker. So, I definitely needed 2 or 3 layers of it to get the colors I wanted. While doing this, I also painted a cutie heart shaped mark on his bum and chose to use some puffy paint to give him big, thick paint stains. I had now also decided that this doggy is an artist, much like the first lucky cat I ever customized. So that is also why he is a little grubby. He uses his paws to paint and things get messy. To support him on his artistic endeavors, I also made him a tiny paint palette from brown paper and then placed him outside again to see if that would speed up the drying time of all that puffy paint. And then it hit me. The inspiration for this scruffy dog with a huge underbite came from someone I already know. Once the little tag dried, I painted it purple and I was eager to paint the white puffy paint too, but apparently only the surface was dry. Ugh. So I went back to working on the paint palette by adding hot glue to it to create the paint on it. When the puffy paint finally dried, I used acrylic markers to paint on some of it, and then went over the letters of the tag with black to make them more visible. Covered it with some clear nail polish, and then threaded the ribbon through it. I attached it very tightly to Bark's neck so it would create more separation of the head and the body, changing the shape of the dinosaur a little bit more. I glued his paints on him, and here it is. I actually love this scruffy little dude. Here's what he looked like before when he was a dinosaur named Burp, and this is what he looks like now that he is a cute little dog named Bark. I was still sad that I stained his face. He would have totally rocked it if it wasn't for my mistake. So I thought I'd do him right by drawing him at his best. And this was very last minute, but because I liked the illustration I made of him so much, I've just added it as a limited edition sticker to my shop. By the way, shameless plug, in case you didn't know, I now have a sticker shop. I'm super excited about it. I have some limited designs available now that include some of my most loved characters from previous videos. And then I also have all 12 zodiac signs as cute little bears drawn in my style. These designs came from a video where I customized clay bears to represent the 12 zodiac signs. And then I have a few other characters that I consider to be staples of my channel and that you'll always find available. So if you haven't visited my sticker shop yet, please do and let me know if you like it. Okay, so moving on, like I said in the intro, I've received a challenge to customize the next plushie. I made a new friend on YouTube and I asked him to send me a challenge, and this is what he sent.
Hello, my beautiful friend. I guess I need to give you a challenge, though. I might have one in mind. So, what was that? I was told I have to give you a challenge. I have one for you. You have to turn one of Moriah Elizabeth's creatures into a villain.
I have no idea what that was, and did you hear music? There's a note. I, Dastardly Yeti, have given the challenge to Paula. Mwahaha. But I have left you the side challenge. Mwahaha. Dastardly Yeti? I don't get to give you your challenge now? Well, goodness. You know what? I don't even know what his challenge was, but you have to add a kitty. That's your side challenge. So, yeah, can't wait to see what you create, Paula.
I really love how creative David got to deliver my challenge. I was so happy to receive his little clip. But like I said in the intro of this video, this is hard for me because I don't really do villains. And once I received my challenge, I got worried about the challenge I sent to my friend that's going after me next week. Can you guess who it is? Anyhow, back to Eustace and turning it into a villain. I actually think his mischievous face is kind of perfect for it. So I was encouraged to give David's challenge a shot. His video really made me think about Dr. Facilier. So my first move was to give this cat a top hat. As you've been watching, I've been trying to make one with black foam clay. The idea was to cover the cone, and I thought this was the perfect material because of how lightweighted it is. It definitely won't add much weight to the plushie, so it could still stand on its own. To keep it in place, I only needed to use some white glue on the fabric. Then I covered the top and spent a little time improving the modeling of the cylinder. I thought it best to let it dry for a bit before adding the brim of the hat. So in the meantime, I sculpted a tiny little skull with white foam clay. Then, after the hat had dried a bit, for the brim, I simply modeled more clay around it, and of course, it just sticks to itself. I also used the black clay to model a pair of tiny ears. I'm turning the cherry on its head into his tiny sidekick. When the clay dried, I glued the ears onto the cherry, and then I painted it entirely with purple, including the stem of the cherry, which is now the mini cat's tail. While that dried, I thought I would use this glittery foam sheet to create a little cape or cloak, I don't know what to call it, something for him to look more villainous. I cut a semicircle, which actually looks like the letter C, and I put it around its neck. I couldn't glue it just yet because I wanted to apply a second layer of paint to the mini cat to make the purple a bit lighter. I also painted a piece of ribbon with the same color so everything would match. And I painted the back of the foam with black to give it a sleeker look. When everything dried, I painted the face on my tiny sidekick. I wanted him to look menacing and intimidating. You know, like one of those cute little chihuahuas that as soon as you hover your hand on top to try to pet them, they lose it completely and seem like they're going to bite your finger off. Eustace is the brains of the operation, but the tiny cat, it's like the muscle. He's so mean, nobody dares getting close to him. After that, I glued the ribbon on top of the hat and started gluing the cape around its neck. It took me a while to get it to look okay, and I actually had to take apart some of what I've glued because I thought it would look better if it seemed like he had tied it around his neck with some ribbon and a little bow. So I tied the ribbon and then went back and glued everything in place, including the little skull I made for the hat. So this is what Eustace looked like before, and this is what he looks like now as a villain. I think both my makeovers are super different. Eustace is just in costume. It's almost like he dressed as a villain, and of course, you can still recognize the character. While Burp almost disappeared completely to give room to a brand new character. Let me know which style of makeover you like most. And now to reveal who's going to create the next character. It's Di, the Aussie crafter, and here's a clue to the challenge I gave her. To understand what this means and see how she works it into a plushie, don't forget to tune into her channel next Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. Have the most wonderful day, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.